Okay, so obviously a lot of dramatic stuff went down today. Were you anticipating seeing Ben in leading up, the weeks leading up to this, or were you like not fazed by it?
I honestly didn't think about seeing Ben until this past week because it was my departure from the show. And so watching me leave made me realize that I am going to see him again. And how is that going to feel knowing how strongly I felt for him?
Right. I think you said a little bit on the show, when you got home, it was raw at first. Now you feel like you're getting back to normal. How was that process? How did you sort of like shake it off?
There's no shaking it off when you get back home. It's hard because you have no answers, and normally you can text somebody or call them and be like, "What happened?" And there's none of that. There is no closure, and I did go back and get some of that, but at the same time, it's really hard because you can't try and move on because you can't date anybody, but at the same time you still have feelings for somebody that you can't even talk to, and you don't know what they're doing,
and
if they're okay. I mean, I really want him to be happy, and I don't know if that's what happened or not.
So how did that happen? You get home and did you really call them up, or did they approach you and say, do you want the opportunity to say something else?
Coming back, I was very confused, and I landed in Nashville, and I saw my parents, and I pulled my eyes out, and I sat there, and I didn't know what had happened, and I couldn't really, there was no explanation for me, really. And so I emailed a producer, and I was like, just random, probably questions that didn't make sense. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. So it was more of a collaborative thing as to, do you want to go back and ask? And I was like, yeah. I mean, after a day, I was like, yeah, I do want answers, because that's not characteristic of me. Normally I'd be like, I'll just get over it. But I was like, no, I think I deserve answers at this point.
When you got home and your parents were there, obviously, did you have, there was a lot of talk on the show about your date there and how much it impacted, and Chris seemed to say he thought you were going to be mad at your parents. Was there any of that? Why did you because there was some, when your dad was talking to Ben, I thought he was a little if you don't like her, tell her, right away. Were you like, why did you say that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I'm glad my dad did that, because I think going into overnights, that's harder, to leave after that. And I really felt for Nikki when she did. And I'd much rather leave than later, and I don't think my parents really had much to do with it, and I think Ben and I both addressed that tonight, that it wasn't that.
Right.
And he saw things with other women more than me, and so that's what it was.
Seems like you have a good attitude about it, more so than a lot of people who seem still kind of bitter about Lone Down.
Well, if you're bitter about it, it's not going to make it any easier, and do I want the best for him? Yes, I do, and I think he's a great person, and seeing him tonight was hard, and I don't know how he feels, and if he's happy or not, but that's what I want.
Yeah, I got the impression from you that you don't, a lot of people seem to think he picks Courtney, and maybe they're not so happy judging by how she acted tonight. Do you think that he could be happy with her? It seems like he couldn't get past seeing that other side of her.
I think initially he would have been happy with her not knowing this, but I think watching this, it's very hard to move past a lot of things that you've seen about somebody and hear the opinions that people have, and to look past those. If you repetitively hear the same thing from different people, that's hard.
Right, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. What's up with you? You're back in Asheville, right?
No, I'm in Knoxville.
Oh, yeah. You don't live, that's where your parents live. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm back there temporarily. I don't know, I'm figuring out what I want to do and where I want to go. So.
You think you might move somewhere else?
Yeah, I'd love to move somewhere else. I've been there for a while, since college, and so I'm ready to see what's next.
Cool.